I'm trying to strategically move my body so you don't see my laundry back here. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie. Just last week, I came up with a whole bunch of video ideas and a whole TBR. I'm throwing that out the window. Who's surprised? Not me. But I want to read a couple books that I have no opinions on. I feel like that makes it more fun. Also opens me up to some disappointment, but I will take it. First, we have Knock Knock Open Wide. I probably should have double checked that title before starting to film, but whatever. It's right here. I completely forgot I had the e-arc for this NetGalley book, and I didn't even include it in my October releases, but I believe it's horror. This was a complete cover pick. Like, I have no idea what this is about. I honestly just requested it because it looks so cool. It weaves horror and Celtic myth into a terrifying, heartbreaking, supernatural tale of a fractured family. This sounds wild. I'll get more into detail wow, as I start to read it. My other book for this vlog is going to be Night's Edge by Liz Karen. I have spoken about this before. Another cover purchase, but also this includes vampires, and who doesn't love a good vampire? This is about a young woman named Mia, and her mother is a vampire. Or at least she has a hunger that only blood can satisfy. Pretty sure that means vampire. Her mother is super controlling, and so Mia's now 20. I think she's fallen in love with this girl in a band. It says that this is Mia's one chance of getting out alive. That sounds pretty intense. I really love the moody, sort of angsty look of this cover. It looks like my Tumblr girl era. Oh my god. In my wildest dreams, I want this to be the origin story of woman eating, although this is about a half human, half vampire whose mother, I believe, was a human, but she was also very controlling. I give this 5 stars. I absolutely worship this book, but it's very literary, whereas I think Night's Edge might be more suspense. I don't know. We will find out. I'm gonna try to keep my expectations low because, again, I haven't heard anyone talk about this, so could be disappointing, could be average, could be amazing. We'll find out. I am on a lunch break for work. It's actually only 8 a.m. I'm doing like this training thing. I hate doing trainings with other people, especially over Skype or Zoom or whatever. It's just so awkward. I don't know why. And I overcompensate by like smiling too much, and then for like a 4-hour training, my cheeks start going numb because I'm just like, but yeah, I should probably go eat something. Okay, bye.
We met at midday.
Okay, I'm at 8%, but I want to stop and tell you some things because it's already fucking crazy. First, let me tell you the synopsis of this book. It takes place in Ireland, and we have a couple timelines going on. We start out in 1979, and our main character's name is Ethan. Or Etane? I'm gonna Etane. Driving home late one night, Etane finds a corpse on a pitch black country road deep in the Irish countryside. She takes the corpse to a remote farmhouse. So begins a night of unspeakable horror that it will take her to the very brink of sanity. She will never speak of it again. 2 decades later, Betty, so now we're in 1999, Betty has fallen in love with the drama society and the beautiful but troubled Aisling Mallon. As their relationship blossoms, Aisling goes to the great lengths to keep Betty away from her family, especially her alcoholic mother, Etane, who was the person who brought the corpse to the farmhouse. Betty ends up learning her lover's terrifying family history and Aisling's secret obsession. Aisling has become convinced that the horrors inflicted on her family are connected to a seemingly innocent children's TV show. What is happening? Everyone in Ireland watched the show in their youth, but Ash soon discovers that no one remembers it quite the same way. And only Aisling seems to remember it's a small black goat puppet who lives in a box and only comes out if you don't behave. Wow. So what I read, we open up with an article from a newspaper talking about how Etane found this body. It tells us that Etane is now safe. She's going to marry this man named Barry Mallon, and someone named Feidlim Lowney is presumably at large, and I guess they think he's responsible for this murder. But everyone's really confused as to what happened, and then it's like a journal entry from the person who wrote that 10 years later saying that the writer is being pushed out and being fired and forced to say that she quit. I'm so confused. And then there's something about the Punch and Judy dolls, which I've only ever known because of Gone Girl, and they're puppets. And I'm just like, I'm waiting for the Grady Hendrix to sell a haunted house nightmare to begin. I'm so scared for this puppet. So then what I read, I haven't even finished chapter 1, and we are in Atane's point of view. I've also realized that I synopsize way too much in my videos, and it's probably very boring, but like, I have to gossip with you. That's what it feels like I'm doing when I film these videos. Anyway, Atane is on her way to her sister's house that she's staying at for a party. Her boyfriend's there and she's gonna go break up with him. Turns out he is actually proposing to her and she says yes. Yay, congrats. Like, she's so happy. I'm happy. He seems like a great guy. And it looks like her mother is a piece of shit. We have no idea why yet. I'm scared. I'm scared to find out. And so it's like, yay, Atane is about to, you know, start living her life and having a great time. Good for her. Then she's driving home. She sees this body and a dog is literally ripping its face off. And I really don't understand why she does this, but she thinks that she needs to get the body in her car and get it to a safe place because it's disrespectful that the dog's chewing it up. And like, I get it, but also, why would you ever touch a dead body? I feel like my first instinct would be like, do not touch that because the police will think I did it. That's my first thought because I've watched too much CSI and Law and Order. But anyway, she ends up like throwing stones at this feral dog to try to get it to go away. She gets the body in the car. Oh my God, why did she do that? And then this huge like wolf appears. And at this point I was like, oh shit, things are getting wild. And it's just crazy. Then we get the point of view of this person who is accused of this murder apparently, Fiedlem Lowney, and he's saying that he's waiting for the person to arrive. And so it's like he knew this was going to happen. He's waiting for her in the car to show up. Like it's what's it called? A prophecy or something. And so I'm very, very intrigued. I don't want to give any more details, but like this isn't even chapter 1 finished. So, and I cannot wait to find out more about this puppet. Oh my God. I feel like this is going to be this book, but if it was actually scary and not goofy. I don't mind a little goofy. I mean, it's a puppet, it's gonna be goofy, but like, it could be very frightening, and I kind of hope that's what we're gonna get here. Demon puppets, let's go! I just finished chapter 1. That shooketh me. I can't even tell you what happened because like you need to read it. I'm scared because my hopes for this book have just skyrocketed, and the only thing that can happen with high expectations are you're let down. No! Are you serious? Don't look at my toes. This is a lot of fucking food. I'm making a mess. This is not cute. Are you zooming in on this? Okay, cut. All right, I got about to the 50% mark. That first chapter, oh my God. That could have been a little short story and I would have given it a 5-star. Like, we immediately jumped into the 1999 timeline, and surprisingly, we went back and forth a few more chapters, which I really enjoyed because we got more information on the 1979 timeline. I don't want to tell you everything that happened, even though like literally so much happened that first chapter. I will tell you that there are like cursed rings involved. That's all I'm gonna say because oh my God, that first chapter, I kind of want to reread it. The current timeline, the one with the 2 young women in college, it turns out Atane actually did marry that dude and had a kid, so that's good, although we find out that he's dead, so we'll find out what happened, I guess. I'm not as attached to the current timeline as I am to that past timeline because literally the craziest shit happened, and it's stuff that was not really explained, and so I guess what's gonna happen in the second half of the book is that we are going to get an explanation in the current timeline and things maybe will repeat itself. I just want things to get crazy again, so I am getting a little impatient. I do like the sort of love story between these girls. I say I like the love story. I don't love it, mostly because it's so obvious that a man wrote this, and not in a bad way. It's just like I can't stop thinking about it when he's talking about, I don't know, it just, I can tell that a man wrote this. The writing itself though, I'm really loving just the crazy shit. I will never let go of my love for the crazy and the weird, and this author is doing a great job with that. At the 50% mark now, I think we're about to start talking about the puppets because Etaine's daughter is asking for a job at this children's TV show where the goat puppet took place. And it's crazy that that was such a big deal in the prologue. I couldn't wait, and I completely forgot about the puppet until just now. I'm on my lunch break. I probably will try to finish this tonight because I think things are going to spiral out of control, and the best way to read those types of stories is in one sitting, honestly, because the momentum, I'm really hoping to get fucked up in the head here. So my journey right now is that first chapter was up here, and then it kind of dipped because I got a little bored just because things were so crazy for a minute. But I am enjoying the story. There's a lot going on. I did look for the audiobook because it's set in Ireland. I want to hear some Irish accents, but they haven't made it yet. So that was kind of a bummer, but I'm still having so much fun reading this. Unfortunately, I have to finish work, but I'll see you after. Yo, I'm 91% into this and I'm so confused still. Like, what is going on? All right, I just finished the book. I'm left confused and sadly a little unsatisfied. Usually I love being confused in an ambiguous sort of way, but I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I might have to think about it and come back to you. I feel like this was a very unique book, which is funny because the author makes a note at the end to talk about all the Irish lore that was pretty much exactly told in this. So I feel like maybe I'll go back and read some original folktales because damn, some of this is fucked up. It's pretty crazy. I don't know, I just feel like they made the heart of this story, this love story between these two women, and I do like them, but I feel like we didn't really, I don't know, I didn't feel very close to them. I don't know, I felt closer to Etain at the beginning, and I sort of wish we had just kept going with her. Also, some things I feel like weren't wrapped up succinctly. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly. I just feel like it was sort of this wonderful mess, and then the mess had to be dealt with, and I don't like how it was sort of tied up. And then in the middle is this sort of completely different book. I don't know how to feel right now. I will be reading whatever this author writes next. I think this is his second book. His first book is called When the Sparrow Falls, and it's science fiction. I don't know, I think the things I really loved in this book were the horror parts because, like, damn, he didn't hold back at all. You know what it's kind of making me feel like, and it's not similar at all. Let me go grab this book, hold on. It kind of has given me the same sort of feeling as Our Crooked Hearts gave me. Not that they're very similar at all. Like, this is a very much more adult and bloodier and gorier story, which is the parts that I really liked. But it had this intrigue in the beginning and very creepy visuals. Oh, I just remember this opening scene where this woman is naked in some lake, laughing manically at the moon. Like, that was amazing. But then there was like a romance, like a side romance in here, and there was a mother-daughter story, 2 timelines, and then the end, it was like it's kind of lackluster, and it felt like it kind of just got pieced together as an afterthought. That sounds kind of rude, I'm sorry, but that's the feeling that it gave me. It also sort of reminded me of this book that I read because there are some parts in Knock Knock Wide Open, Open Wide, of, I guess, mixed media, where really we were following this journalist. Like, the opening 2 things were from this journalist, Patricia, and we saw her a few times throughout this book. I don't like how her story ended either, but it did sort of remind me a little bit of A History of Fear because it did have that, like, sort of journalism aspect to it. I don't know why I was doing this. Anyway, I'm gonna have to think about this. I'll get back to you, but right now I'm very intrigued still, and I want to go back and read that first chapter. Maybe I don't, because that might give me nightmares. It was truly scary. I think maybe I'm going to look for a book that is honestly scary from beginning to end. Usually I complain about those sorts of books, although I don't even think I've attempted to read one, like, ever. I feel like I wouldn't get a lot out of it because I do need some depth. And you know what? I don't know that I did get some depth. I'm gonna stop rambling in a second, I'm sorry. But my God, I feel like this book could have absolutely terrified me. And I'm sort of sad that it didn't. And honestly, that just means I'm fucked up. So I would recommend this to people who like creepy shit. And I would recommend it to people who are interested in changelings. One of the characters is researching it when she's in college in the first half of the book. And it just makes me so pleased every single day that I've read Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, because at the beginning of this year, my eyes were opened up to what changelings were, and now I hear and see them in my books literally all the time, and I'm obsessed. All right, that's all I have to say right now. Good morning. It is the next day. We've already done a lot this morning. We went grocery shopping. I got some Halloween candy in case there are trick-or-treaters. I'll probably just end up eating all of these. We went to Starbucks. I'm literally just drinking liquid whipped cream now. I think I'm gonna give a 3.5 to Knock Knock Open Wide. Maybe a 3.75 just because I really think this is gonna stick with me, some of the imagery. That first chapter, I can't shut up about it. And I think I honestly, once I'm off this sort of book buying ban I'm on, I think I will purchase the book just so I can reread that first chapter whenever I want to be scared. It's also weirdly a story that's making me want to write my own ending or write my own story, and that never happens. So that is very intriguing. Anyway, this morning I have read 25% of Night's Edge. Also, look at this naked hardback. How cool is that? I fucking love this. The first couple sentences are pretty wild. I'm hungry and it's 2 in the morning. The fridge is empty and mom is dead on the couch. So in this book, vampirism is called Saratov syndrome. I think they call it Sara or something like that. And when our main character was 10 years old, I think, her mom had a guy over, and it opens up with her dead on the couch because he got a little too into whatever he was doing with her. And then he turns her into a vampire. It's going back and forth between the present day when our main character Mia is 23, and it's just her and her mom now. She feeds her blood, but her mom's up to something sketchy after all of these years of them trying to stay under the radar, because the people who have this vampiric virus, they end up having to go to some sort of recovery place, but they never leave the recovery place. So we're in that timeline. Our main character Mia has a crush on a girl, except she's so sure that this girl is a vampire, even though she's out in the daylight, just because she's so attracted to this person. And so she's trying to blame it on the fact that she has this Sara virus that's trying to attract her, but really I think she's just gay, which is cute, and I can't wait to read more about that. But then we're also in the past timeline with her mom and this crusty ass man named Devin, and he just seems like a dick and slimy, and I really just want to go in this book, take our main character Mia of 10 years old and be her foster mom, because I need to get her out of this situation. Her mom doesn't seem like well, she does seem kind of like a shitty mom, but she just seems like a mom who's trying her best. She doesn't seem that over controlling, but also like the fact that she was even dating this guy before she got turned into a vampire is questionable. So yeah, I think it's going to be maybe heartbreaking. It's definitely a faster pace than Woman Eating, and it's not literary, but it is nicely written. And I think I'm going to be able to read this pretty quickly today, so that's great. As for my nail color, I have chosen this, it's like a blue with gold in it, but for it to become this color, you need to put like 12 coats on it. So I'm gonna try doing white underneath and then this color, and we shall see how that works out. I know you're all very interested, so. About 50% of the way through this. I'm going back and forth between the audiobook and the physical book, and I do like the audiobook, and I highly recommend because it's going by so quickly. It's just a very steady read. There's nothing too outrageous, but it's also not boring, and it's like the perfect Saturday book. We're still going back and forth between when our main character is 10 and when she's 23 in the present day, and it just seems to be like an allegory for a situation where a parent is almost addicted to drugs and the codependency that this child and mother have with each other. And it's really sad, but it's also weirdly heartwarming the way they're trying to make this work. And it's obviously not fair to the kid. So it's like, it's a very interesting story. And I can see it going really, really badly, and I am nervous. Other than that, I did paint my nails. I usually go for like a really bright or a really dark color. This is more sort of, I mean, it's not neutral, but it's way more like muted than I'm used to, and I kind of like it. It looks like a low-key mermaid look. I don't know. Oh, something else that Grant picked at the grocery store. Let me show it to you. Fuck, I just messed up my nail when I was grabbing a fork. But this is ube butter mochi. It's purple. I think it's Hawaiian because there's ube flavored things here, like everything. Well, mostly pastry kind of things like donuts and ice cream and scones, that sort of thing. And I don't really know what it tastes like, but let's try it. Babe, will you open this? I'm gonna ruin my nails. Grant says he doesn't think I'll like it. Like, you don't think I'll like the flavor or the consistency?
Maybe both.
Ooh, it smells good. It feels very gooey. All right, not my favorite, but it was an experiment. It kind of tastes like, I feel like if you like coconut, you would like it. It feels a little coconutty. It kind of tastes like church cookies. All right, I just finished Night's Edge, and I feel like I had the same thoughts from the beginning, middle, and end to this. It was a very steady read. It was intriguing. I do think it actually dipped a little bit somewhere around the 60% mark where I'm like, what are we doing? I was looking at the author though, and apparently this is a duology, and the second one is coming out in April, and it's going to be our main character going to like a den of vampires. So that one seems like it's gonna be, I don't know, it almost sounds like a completely different tone. Like it's going into this greater saga. I don't even know if I want to read it. I mean, I'm very intrigued because I do like vampires. It sounds like it would be a completely different book than this, but this feels very like good on its own as a standalone. Like it feels completed. I definitely recommend this for vampire lovers just because it's a unique perspective. It's not from the point of view of a vampire. It's the point of view of a daughter of a vampire and also the food source of a vampire. Also definitely recommend for people that like hard-hitting fiction, even if it's not like fantasy, where there are family members or people that are close to you that are struggling. It was not like a really fun story in that way. It was kind of sad it was a little depressing, but it also didn't really hit me that hard. So I feel like I'm landing around 3, but because our main character has been so sheltered her whole life, but it makes it feel more like a YA story. So if that's interesting to you, maybe you'd want to check this book out. All in all, I'm glad I read these books. I had a fun time. I got a lot of crazy images in my head now forever. I think I might want to pick up Knock Knock Open Wide because I can't let it go. Maybe upon reread, I'll like it better. I don't know, but I will definitely be rereading it. Let me know if you have any interest in reading these books or if you have read these books or if you have similar suggestions. Otherwise, I'm in such a reading mood. I'm going to get right on into my next vlog. So I'll see you then. Goodbye.